So, yo, what's up YouTube? Today I'm going to make a DK solo shuffle targeting tier list for you guys, okay? So the higher the class on the tier list, the higher I want to hit it in solo shuffle, right? The lower, the less I want to hit it. Obviously, there's going to be some variance in this. Like say, for instance, there's 2 S tier targets in there. You're going to have to decide which one to hit. Or sometimes a target that's S tier might actually not be the target you hit depending on how the game plays out, for instance, right? So, for example, say you're fighting a mage and a warrior. Generally, I would want to go the mage, right? Because it's caster melee. But if the warrior is pushed back on, say, my warlock and the mage pulls out and the warrior's in a bad position and say he's maybe killing my mage and we can save my mage by hitting him, I'm going to swap and hit him, right? So there's going to be situations where even if a target is lower ranked than another target, you're still going to swap to that target. But this is just like a good general, this is a good place to start, right? Like if you don't really know what to hit, hitting one of these targets at the top will be a good place to start. And yeah. So before I get into this, I just want to give you guys one example, okay? If you're fighting caster melee, you generally want to be on the caster, okay? Because if you go on the caster, number 1, you're stopping the caster's damage. Number 2, you're not getting cleaved, right? So if I'm fighting Warlock Warrior and I go on the warrior and the warrior's hitting my other guy, number 1, the warrior's hitting both of us, and number 2, the mage is free casting, okay? So generally I'm going to start the mage. There might be a time I'm going to switch to the warrior or something if he's pushed in, like I said, but I'm generally going to start on the mage to stop the damage, okay? So that's one thing I see a lot. When I was queuing lower rated with blood, I would see that, say it'd be like Warlock Warrior, right? And I'm playing like double melee. My teammates would go for the warrior and just leave the warlock to free cast. So stuff like that. You don't want to do that, right? So targeting is really important. So let's get into this, okay? I'm just going to throw these where I think that where they go for me personally. This is DK perspective. And yeah, so you can use this to help you out. So again, the tier of these, this is tough too to make it just like this because the tier of these is going to change, right? Like say if it's hunter mage or something and I want to go mage, but there's another one where maybe I would go the hunter instead. So it's not exactly a one size fits all, but we're going to do our best. So let's get into this. So Arms Warrior, I'm going to put this overall. They're not the worst to hit, but they're not the best. So I'm going to put Arms Warrior B tier. I like to hit them, but there's a lot of stuff I'd rather hit before them. Fury Warrior, I'm going to put that C tier because I don't like to hit them. They have a lot of sustain, but again, if there's nothing better to hit, I will hit the Fury Warrior. Prot Warrior, I haven't seen one, so we'll just put it in F tier because it's a tank. You don't want to hit those. Assassination Rogue. These are pretty good to hit. They're pretty squishy, but again, it's going to depend on what's on your team, right? Like if there's if it's caster assass, I'm going to go the caster, right? But if it's not, I'm going to go the assass. So it's kind of just going to put most melee into A, and then the casters are going to be S where you want to focus them. But if you're not in a caster lobby, and this is like say a melee lobby, like Windwalker Assassination, then I would put this in S and I would focus this. But just overall, I'm going to put this in A. Next, Sub Rogue. They have a shit ton of defensives. I like to kill them in swaps, or if they waste their defenses, right? Like their vanish, evasions. If they waste everything, I'll swap them, but I don't generally like to go them. So I'll put them down in. I like to hit them more than about as much as a Fury Warrior, in my opinion. Outlaw Rogue. Again, they have a lot of evasions, but I'll put them at about Arms Warrior tier. Yeah, they're about Arms Warrior tier. In terms of melee, hitting arms isn't even that bad. I might actually just shift arms up to A. I don't mind hitting them at all. They actually take damage and don't kite too much. All right, Marksman Hunter, I'm putting this S tier. I love to tunnel Marksman Hunters. I love to have them in my team. I like to target them. They're good. But if they're with a caster, I'm going to take the caster instead of the Marksman Hunter, okay? Survival Hunters, I also like to hit them. We're going to put them up in the S tier. We'd like to hit them. They're caster. They're like a hybrid caster. BM Hunters, so I like to hit them, but if there's if there's a caster, if there's anything else to hit, I'll hit them before, because the BM Hunter, I'm not stopping that much damage by hitting him, I feel like, and the pets are still killing you no matter what. So if there's something else you can stop damage on, I'd prioritize that instead. But if it's caster melee and I'm counting the BM Hunter as a caster, then I'm going to go on him just to stack to cleave, right? Because if it's caster melee and you attack the caster or the ranged, and then the warrior or whatever, the melee is on you, you're dragging that melee on top of the other guy, and in turn you get to hit both of them, so you're cleaving, right? You're cleaving, your team is not getting cleaved, and none of them are near your healer to kick, so it's nice. That's really good positioning. This is tank. DH, again, I hate hitting Demon Hunters. I'm going to put it in C tier. I'm not a huge fan of hitting DHs. Sometimes I'll swap on them with people and stuff, but Me personally, I don't know why. I think it's from BFA, but I just hate hitting demon hunters, man. They just uh, sometimes I'll hit them and kill them and stuff. So like don't count this out like you're never hitting it, right? Like you're still gonna be hitting these, right? You're still hitting them. There's a time when I hit everything, okay? There's a time when I hit everything. This is not a one size fits all. Again, Guardian Druid down here. I haven't even seen one. Feral Druid, I like to hit them a lot. So I'm going to put them up in the S tier of what to hit, because if you don't hit Feral Druid, they're going to spam cast clones. And secondly, they're really squishy. So we're going to put them up in S tier. Again, if you're with like, if you're fighting Caster Feral Druid, the same rules are going to apply. I'm generally going to go for the Caster because they're going to be spamming CC2 generally. But sometimes I'll just straight up go with the Feral, like, and just kill them. They're really squishy. They're a really good target. Our Druids. So obviously you're not training the Ardruid, right? You're not training the Ardruid, but you want to be hitting the Ardruid. I generally like to hit them every go. Every time I have a grip stun in solo shuffle, I'll try and grip stun the Ardruid and hit them in it, right? You want to keep pressure on the Ardruid as much as possible, so I'm going to put them up there, because you don't want to just leave them alone, right? You want to try to be involving them and hitting them as well to get the pressure and the hots on everybody. All right, and the next thing we have here is Boomkin. Definitely S tier target right there. So say you're in a lobby and it's like Boomkin, Marksman Hunter, okay? 2 S tier targets. The person you're going to go, in my opinion, you can obviously swap when needed and stuff, depending what healer they have, but is the Boomkin, okay? Because they're both caster, they're both ranged, so you have that already. But the Boomkin is going to be the one spamming clones, spamming damage. You can stop more of the Boomkin's damage, I feel like, and stop their CC and keep them defensive. So they're an S tier target. I would even hit them over Hunter, right? Maybe I can just organize this in order of like what I prioritize from left to right. If I had the same things in the lobby, we'll do that. We'll prioritize from left to right. So from left to right is like the order I would hit the things in, more or less. All right. So Frost DK, they're really squishy. They're really squishy. They take a lot of damage. They can't really do damage if you're killing them. So they're a good target for sure. But again, if there's like any ranged or anything like that on the team, I would prioritize hitting the ranged first. But if there isn't, then I would go with the DK. Next we have Unholy DK. DKs are also really good targets. They're squishy. It's kind of like the same scenario that everything else is in. Like if there's a caster or some sort of range to stop damage on, you can go them instead. But if you're fighting like TSG, I would go the DK. If you're fighting like Ret DK, I would probably go the Ret personally. If you're fighting Survival Hunter DK, I would go the Survival Hunter because they're ranged. But their DKs are a really good target, right? They're a really good target too. Outside of like casters and everything like that. So if you're double melee, then I would hit the DK before the warrior, okay? Actually, I'm going to put warrior down to B. We'll put warrior down to B, because I would rather hit a DK than a warrior. I mean, depends on the comp, actually. We'll put I'm putting warrior and DK in the same. Okay, and next we have Blood DK. We're going to put that down in F. If you fight a Blood DK, don't attack them. You're going to feed them procs. You're going to feed them cleave. It's not what you want. That is not where you parked your car. Devastation Evoker. They're good to hit. They're really mobile, though. I'm going to put them here because, say, if I'm fighting Dev Evoker, Boomy, I'm going to hit the Boomy. I'm fighting Dev Evoker, Hunter, I'm going to be hitting the Dev because we stop damage, right? Well, it's almost like most casters are S tier targets for you to hit. Assuming the matchup, they're a good target because you want to stop their damage. So actually, we're going to put that up there because I prioritize all of these over these for sure. Ogvoker, again, it depends on the matchup, right? So I'm going to put Ogvoker to A because whatever the Ogvoker is playing with, I generally hit, right? Because they're buffing the other guy. But if it's like a warrior or a melee or something like that, then I don't want to hit that guy because they can cleave me. So then I'll go the Og. So it depends. If it's Og caster or something, I definitely go the other caster. But if it's Og melee, a lot of the time I like to go the Og, so I'm not getting cleaved. So we'll put the Og here at A. Presvoker, I like to hit them a lot. They're really good targets. So the Presvoker is not like my main kill target generally. They're just like a swap target, right? But they're definitely really good too to hit. We'll put them up there. We're not exactly training them or anything like that, but we want to hit them a lot. We don't have to hit them. We can just kill the DPS, so we'll put them high. But they're definitely a very viable thing to hit. Holy Paladin. Again, as far as all the healers go, chat, they're going to be more or less just like be hitting them in goes, right? Like grip, stun, silence, and things like that. They're good to hit in goes. Paladin, again, is another really good healer to hit because they can die really easily, right? So we'll put them high. They can die really easy. They're really good to hit. We could even put them in S tier. They're really nice to hit, actually. We'll put them up there. Pallies die really easily. They're good. They're good to hit, especially as Frost DK. So next we have Ret Pally. In terms of melee, I really like to hit Ret Pally. Like if I'm in a full melee lobby and there's a Ret Pally, I'll generally go the Ret Pally because of this. If I go the Ret Pally, I have to go through what? His wall, bubble, and whatever, and shield. But if I go the other DPS that's with the Ret, then I have to go through all the DPS's cooldowns, plus I have to go through all the Ret's cooldowns on that guy. So I like to just go the Ret myself. Unless it's an R-Druid and you have to swap constantly, but yeah. Pally, we'll put that down in there in F. Disc Priest, I mean, I don't really focus them or anything like that. I don't really, so I'll touch the Disc Priest, right? I'll put dots on them and stuff, but I'm not really focusing Disc Priest too much, so I'll put the Disc Priest down here. Yeah, I don't really focus the Disc Priest a whole lot. Holy Priest. Again, Holy Priest is the same kind of scenario. I'm not really training them. They'll take some damage, but I'm not really targeting them. I don't really do my goes. Like, I hit these people in the goes, but I'm not hitting them as much as I'm hitting, like, say, these classes, right? I'm kind of just CCing them and swapping on cooldowns if needed to hit them, but I'm not really focusing them that much. Shadow Priest, we're going to put this up here in an S tier target. Here's the thing, right? Shadow Priest, super stationary. Again, if it's with like Shadow Priest Warrior or Shadow Priest Ret or something where you go on the Shadow Priest and then the melee is going to be stacked on top and you can play Defile, you can cleave them both down while standing on the Shadow Priest. Shadow Priest is really nice because you can dictate positioning on top of them really nicely. But say there's a Shadow Priest and a Moonkin in your lobby, okay? They're both S tier targets here. So how do you decide which one to hit, right? Well, the one that's going to spam the most CC. Boomkin is going to spam clone over and over, which is the most broken CC in the game, or one of them. So I'm going to go the Boomkin to stop the clones, okay? Because if you hit the Priest or the Boomkin, you're going to be stopping damage on both. So you're good from that respect, but clones are so devastating that you need to be stopping these. So I'm going to be going the Boomkin over the Shadow Priest. So let's get it, boys. That's kind of how you can decision make there. But yeah, these are targets I really like to hit a lot. Windwalker. So Windwalker, they're squishy, but they have port. So I definitely don't prioritize them the most, right? Like if there's a warrior and a Windwalker in the lobby, I'll hit the warrior. I personally I'm gonna put Windwalker at B tier, right? Like if there's a sub rogue and if there's an Assassin rogue and a Windwalker, I'm hitting the Assassin rogue. If there's a BM Hunter and a Windwalker, I'm hitting the BM Hunter. If there's DK Windwalker, I'm hitting the DK, right? Warrior Windwalker, I'm hitting the Warrior. Me personally, I just don't like hitting Windwalkers because they can just port away all the time. So I'm going to put them low there. But I will hit them if none of these classes are there. All right. Next we got, Brewmaster Monk, I think. And then Mistweaver. So Mistweaver, I'll hit them a little bit, but like I'm not going to go crazy on them like the other classes, like say an Age Pally or an R-Druid or something, because the Mistweaver is just going to pour it out and then, you know what I mean, heal himself up and he'll be fine. So I kind of just try to like CC the Mistweavers as much as possible, but unless it's like a Fistweaver, maybe I'll hit it a little bit. But I'm thinking I'm going to put this down here. Like I'm not really hitting focusing Mistweaver too much or anything like that. Destro Warlock, I'm putting this up here. Okay, so S tier, right? Again, it's a strong caster with damage that you can stop by playing on top of them and kicking them, right? Not only that, playing on their port is going to help you kill them a lot better too, right? So this is an S tier target. I'll go Destro a lot. If it's Shadow Priest Destro, I'm going to go Destro. If it's MM Destro, I'm going to go Destro. If it's Boomy Destro, see, that's a toss-up, right? That one's tough because if you go Boomy, you stop the clones, but you don't stop the bolts. If you go this guy, you stop the bolts, but you don't stop the clones. So that one's kind of a toss-up. Personally, I go Boomy a lot of the time versus that, but you can go either one, okay? You can go either one there. Afflock. Again, they're a good target. Naturally, just because they're a caster and do a lot of stoppable damage, it makes them a good target. They have a lot of self-healing though, so sometimes I'll hit other stuff, but you want to stop their damage a lot. Kick the drain life as best you can though if you're going to go them, okay? I almost want to put them here because like they're a good target, but they're not quite as good as these targets, so I'm going to put it at A. Like if you let it free cast, it's scary, but I don't know. I think like if it's an AF and a Shadow Priest, you know what? Maybe I should switch this then. Maybe I put Shadow Priest to A. If it's an AF and a Shadow Priest, I'm going to go the AF, right? Actually, no, this belongs in S. Like, but just the order, like, if you have two of these classes together, you just got to decide based on, you just got to use your think to the best of your ability which you're going to stop damage and CC more. It's going to be better for the game. But yeah, we'll put this up here. We'll put this up here. Because, like, say you're fighting Shadow Priest AF, you're going to go for the AF, right? Like, and Demo Warlock. Demo Warlocks are also a good target, but at the same time, they're so tanky. So if there's something else in the lobby besides the Demo, like, say, literally any of these classes besides the Demo, except for Shadow Priest, I would hit these classes. You know what? I think I got to move Shadow Priest down just because of that. Because there's so many classes that if they're paired with the Shadow Priest, I would hit them. But the Shadow Priest, if it's with literally any melee at all, you're going to go the Shadow Priest, right? So the only time you're not going Shadow Priest is if it's paired with one of these classes, more or less. But if it's like if it's Survival Hunter, then you're still going to go the thing. The thing. It's just if it's paired with another caster that's more devastating, then I'm going to go somebody else. So we'll actually put SP there. Frost Mage. Again, this is in... So this one, Frost Mage is hard, right? Because it's an insane target to hit because you stop a lot of damage and they have really strong, like, one-shots. Glacial, Ray of Frost, everything like that. But at the same time, sometimes I feel like Frost Mage is actually kind of bait in solo shuffle because it has 2 ice blocks that takes so long to get through all their cooldowns. So this one's hard for me. I honestly end up hitting them a lot, and sometimes it works really good and they end up dying. But sometimes it's sketchy. So they're a good target, but they can also be a bait target. So I'm going to put them at the very start of A. I'm going to put them at the very start of A. Although you don't really want to leave them alone a lot. It's so hard, man, because like 9 out of 10, like if this class is with any of these classes at all, like anything below S tier, I'm going to be hitting the mage, right? Like if this is with anything at all below S tier, I'm hitting the mage. But if it's with, like, say, a Destro Warlock or a Boomy, honestly, I'm still hitting the mage more or less. Okay, we're gonna keep mage up here really high because yeah, I'm prioing mage like a lot of the time, a huge amount of the time. So I'm gonna keep it up there. It's like, sure, there's situations, but this is just like a good basis for you guys. Next we have Arcane Mage. So Arcane last season was S in solo shuffle, or it was S tier to target, but it wasn't sometimes though. Like, I don't know. Arcane was like last season, I didn't even hit it sometimes. It just depends what you're fighting it with. Like, if you're with something that you can actually have uptime, it's kind of nice, but you also don't want to let them just PvE. So like, I want to put these up really high. Like, you should prioritize this, but like sometimes there's other stuff you can hit instead. Like, I'll give you an example. Say you're playing Arcane Mage Boomkin. You're going to go Boomkin, right? You're playing Arcane Mage Destruction. You're probably going to go Destruction. So there's a lot of stuff that tiers higher than this, in my opinion. But like, you do want to hit this a lot of the time. So I'll put it high A so you guys can base it off that. Like, you can see what you're fighting. Like, say you're fighting Arcane Feral Druid, right? You probably just go the Feral Druid and stop the clones. You'll have uptime, you'll stop the clones, and you just ignore this guy more or less. But you can also go this guy and just try and kick clones. So Fire Mage, also A tier to hit. They good, stop a lot of damage. They're going up there. See, notice chat. So casters are good to prioritize, right? So if you're fighting caster melee, the safe bet is to hit the caster every time if you're fighting caster melee. That's your safe bet right there, right? Next we have Resto Shaman. So Shaman, I'm not really... Okay, so here's the thing. Shaman, I'm not... Obviously not... All these healers and stuff, like, we're not training them, right? These are mostly just for swaps, like, based on how much I'm going to swap on them. But Shaman is really susceptible to swaps against a lot of comps. So if you get like a DHDK or you get a melee cleave or something, Shaman swaps are really good. They're really susceptible to dying like that. But I'm not really going to train the Shaman down. I almost want to put the Shaman like here because, you know, they're susceptible in big swaps like grip, stun, silence, whatever. They're susceptible, but I'm not training them. So they are a good viable target to die, but I'm not training them or anything like that. So I'm going to put them up in this area right here. This is a pretty good... Okay, we got a couple more. Enhanced Shaman, I like to hit them. They're really squishy. We're going to put them up here. We're going to put the Enhanced Shamans up here. They're really squishy. They're a melee. Falls into the same category as everything else, right? Like, if it's double melee, then just prioritize, like, based on the ones you see here, right? Like, if you're fighting Enhanced Windwalker, you're going to go the Enhanced. He's higher. You're fighting Enhanced Assassination Rogue, you can go either one. They're more or less the same. You know what I mean? Stuff like that, right? So just kind of use the list like that. The next one we got here is Ellie Shaman. Ellie Shamans are really good to hit. They're really squishy. They take a lot of damage. The only thing, Burrow keeps them alive a lot now, but they're obviously a caster, right? So any casters, any ranged more or less, are going to be S tier to hit. I put Shadow Priest here just because if there's any of these teams on the team, I'm gonna kind of prioritize them generally. Although if you're fighting Ellie Shadow Priest, you could go either one there. Okay, well there it is, guys, and there it is, my Solo Shuffle Death Knight targeting tier list. So yeah, work your way. If you have your target, you want to know what to hit, just kind of work your way from the top to the bottom, and you can decide like that. This should give you guys a good baseline. Again, there's situations where you might hit a lower ranked, like you might hit the lower ranked DPS than the higher ranked in certain situations. So don't think this is just cut and dry, but this will give you guys a good foundation to build off. If you attack your targets based on this, you're probably going to be doing a lot better, just in general. So, and you'll figure out the situations where you can switch and do your swaps as you needed. Anyways, yo, thank you guys for watching today. I hope this helps you guys out and helps out with your targeting. If you guys liked the video, drop a comment below, hit the like button, and please subscribe with the notifications on. And I will see you guys next time on the next video. Take it easy, guys. Peace.